Good morning. My name is Monique Ruffin, and I just wanted to um, basically chime in, like so many of us in our country right now who are having this conversation about Trayvon Martin and the significance of his murder and what it means in our country. One of the things that's been so unsettling for me is this extraordinary cry for justice, which on some level I find is beautiful, but at the same time it's disturbing because Black boys are dying left and right each and every day in urban cities across this country. I mean, the numbers are out of the world, how many Black boys are dying each and every day. And most of them are dying at the hands of other Black boys. And so when I see this outcry for justice in our country and celebrities and Black people and white people, all of us sort of coming together, I think that's beautiful. But then what I also ask myself is, what is justice? What does justice look like? Is it just about Trayvon, and is it just about the fact that it seems like he was murdered by George Zimmerman, a white man? Or do we want blood? Do we want someone to pay for this? Or do we want to have a real sense of justice where we begin to explore what's going on in our communities and with Black men and the reason that they're dying at such high rates? And so I'm disappointed because one of the things that I am amazed by is how so many people are coming out asking for justice from this victim standpoint. Like, Trayvon Martin has been victimized and he's been murdered, and we're victims. And because there's a race component here, we want to stand and fight. And I read an article in Huffington Post the other day that the Black Panthers have put a bounty of $10,000 on this man's head. Well, justice and blood are not the same thing. And if we want justice, then we need to begin to take responsibility for what's going on in our communities. We as Black people, we are not victims here. We contribute to the culture and the society in which we exist in. We have participated in this experience of racism and victimhood, and we continue to allow these experiences to be so pervasive in our own lives because we ourselves are not willing to show up and take responsibility for what it means to be a human being, for how we participate as a victim, for how we can ignore the slaughter of Black boys at the hands of other Black boys. We can ignore it, act as if it is not even happening. But when one Black boy dies at the hands of a white man, George Zimmerman, the masses come out. The masses come out crying victimhood, victim, justice. This is absurd. If we want justice, justice has to happen inside of our own hearts and minds. We have got to really approach this from a perspective of understanding who we are as Americans. How we continue to perpetuate this cycle of violence in our families and in our communities and in our own lives, how we have not taken responsibility for our own thought processes, and how we've not healed our hearts and our minds and really come to understand that we can create a new reality simply by living a new reality inside of us. And until we do that, justice will not be served. Even if George Zimmerman is chopped up and put underneath the jail, that is not justice. Justice will not occur until Black people are willing to look at ourselves, give ourselves a hard look, and ask ourselves, how are we contributing to the state of Black America, and what are we doing? And take responsibility inside of our hearts. Take responsibility inside of our own minds. Heal our anger, our rage. Really get curious about what we do inside of our own families and how we harm ourselves and one another. Why are we the highest, there are only 12% of African Americans in this nation, but we're the highest rates of uneducated, the highest rates in the prison system, the highest rates of single mothers, the highest rates of divorce, the highest rates of health challenges. What is that about? If we want justice, then we have to really start asking ourselves the real questions. And justice is beyond the murder of Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman. This is a wonderful cause for us to come out on, for us to mobilize ourselves on. But until we ask ourselves the real questions of what is going on in our hearts and minds and souls, that we are giving birth to black boys who are dying in the streets every day, and no one's really doing anything about it. And I include myself in that. No one's doing anything about it. And those of us who are saving our own boys, we're doing it because it's the best that we can do. So there's a bigger question here, and this question is not really just for black people, because this is an American problem. This is an American concern. Black people, we contribute to this culture in a huge way through the arts, through science, through education, through family and community. We have a lot to offer, but if we are not willing to take responsibility and ask ourselves, what are we doing? To stop blaming other people, to stop seeing ourselves as victims, and really begin to mobilize to become empowered, we're never going to change this. We will never have justice until we begin to see that the only thing that's happening here is just us. That's it. It's just us. So I'm grateful. I'm saddened by these events. I'm devastated. I'm heartbroken. I'm confused. And I know that no one else is the answer and no one else is the blame. We got to look at ourselves. We need to look at just us. All right. Monique Ruffin here, and be well. Bye-bye.